Welcome everyone to the Algorithmic Trading with Python webinar. Hopefully you guys are excited for this. This is going to be a super short and simple demonstration of what algorithmic trading is, give you a little bit of the backstory and the history of it, how it's currently being used by hedge funds, and some other helpful tips to get you guys started. All right, now if you didn't know, my name is Giovanni, otherwise known as Giovanni NYC, because I am a New Yorker, no longer native to New York right now, but I'm a New Yorker at heart. All right. So first, let's get you guys started real quick. All right. So what we're going to learn today, short history of algo trading, as I explained before, some of the Python basics for it, and setting up Python for investment. So I'm basically going to show you a little bit about what the backstory to algo trading is, and how to get set up to, start using algo trading today. Again, short and simple, we're going to try to get straight to the point, but I still want to give you guys a little bit of the foundation to this, because this industry is a super secretive industry. Like, I'm pretty sure you didn't hear anything about this until you watched my videos. And honestly, I haven't heard anything about this until last year. And I've been coding for 4 years. So even as programmers, this is something that we don't even know about a lot until we get scouted for these positions. So this industry is a vast industry, and I'm going to show you why. So you're going to see a lot more later. All right. So again, a little about me. I am a tech entrepreneur. I'm the owner of Left Tail Shadow LLC and Black Time Tech, tech brand for minority developers. I've been coding in Python for the last 4 years. I've been coding in JavaScript for the last 2 years. And I learned Solidity last year for blockchain development. So I'm a Python programmer, data scientist, app developer, website developer, and also a blockchain developer as well. I'm a tech lover. And I'm going to give you a little bit of my backstory so you can see like my evolution in tech. But yeah, this is something that changed my life, really. I'm going to show you in the next couple of slides how it changed my life. But yeah, so this was not something I went to school for, just to like get that out of the way as well. I'm a marketing major. I'm a business major. That's always been my thing. I've always loved business. That's why I am an entrepreneur today. Never really cared too much about programming, but programming kind of fell into my lap, and it just became my thing. I don't know how to explain that any other way. And not to get super religious on you guys, but sometimes, these things happen because, God's calling you for this certain purpose. And being a part of the future of tech, I guess, just became my purpose, and I'll show you how. All right. So these are my beginnings. So I'm going to start from when I was in, college. I'm not going to start from when I was a kid. But I'll tell you a little bit about my backstory as well, too. I am Jamaican American. If you didn't know that, my whole family's from Jamaica. Mom, dad side. Most of my brothers and sisters are from Jamaica. I was one of the 2 kids that were born in America, but my whole family's from Jamaica. I still have brothers in Jamaica right now that we're going to try to get them up here for the holidays. Hopefully your family's enjoying the holidays as well. So that kind of gives you a little bit of understanding of like my foundation. Like, one thing that's very big in our culture, especially coming from an immigrant background, is working hard. Never slouching off, always understanding the value of hard work, and just like pushing forward through anything. Because my mom did that. She raised us as a single parent. Now, granted, I did have a great relationship with my dad, but she raised us as a single parent. She did 2-3 jobs when I was a kid to like make sure that we had food on the table, make sure that we were spoiled kids. I'll be honest, we were spoiled kids. Like, she took care of us the best she could, and she never once complained. She just worked her ass off, and that's something that comes from her growing up in Jamaica, and her having the parents that she did, and she instilled that value into me and my sisters and the rest of my family. So when I was in college, graduated last year, so class of 2020, Corona class, I'm gonna call it. That's what we are. We're the Corona class. Shout out to you guys. So I started in, when I was turning 18, I worked in retail. Actually, I worked in McDonald's first, but then I went to retail, which is right there in this picture here. That's Urban Outfitters. I used to work there. My favorite job overall, gotta say that. Then I got the lucky opportunity, because even though I was a crappy student, I impressed the hell out of one of my teachers, my professors, and they got me an internship at a Fortune 500 company, which is right here with me and a fellow classmate that I had too. it was super awesome. I did a great job there. I impressed them as well, and they actually hired me. Imagine that, 19-year-old kid working at a Fortune 500 company, making close to $50,000 a year. That was amazing. That was an amazing experience. I loved it. I learned a lot. I did audio visual. If you don't know what that is, that's basically setting up meetings, international meetings, local meetings, being able to set up the cameras, set up the projector screens so everybody can hear each other, see each other, and the meeting can run smoothly throughout that time. So I guess that would be my tech beginnings, but really, honestly, we're used to that. Like that's like Skype. That was like Skype for my generation, with AIM, Skype, and everything. We knew that already. That's nothing super technical, but that's what I did at that job. All right. Now, funny enough, I ended up quitting that job to pursue entrepreneurship, which is this is my YouTube channel. So you can see a lot of my beginnings for entrepreneurship. As a marketing major, I decided to start a marketing business, social media marketing business, which completely failed. But in it, I learned a lot of key lessons, and that helped transition me to tech. One of the things that I learned was that everyone has a perceived bias, like a perceived value bias, where they view one thing as more valuable than the other. So when I was selling marketing services, I was trying to charge $2,000 a month. A lot of people were like, nah, I don't see the value in that. Even though marketing is what drives money and revenue to your business, they didn't see it. But then I started building these things, chatbots. If you were around back in 2017, 2018, you already knew chatbots were all the rage. They were messaging bots that were put through Facebook Messenger that automated conversations and lead generation. So you would contact the business saying, hey, I want to know about your t-shirt. And then a chatbot will respond saying, hey, what size, what color, can I get your contact information? What would be a good time to call? Stuff like that. Just an automated conversation that can take away the need for person-to-person talking all the time. Once I started selling those, no one complained about 2000, even though these things didn't make you money. Marketing made you money. These things costed you money, but it's just the fact of they believed because it was such high-end new technology that it was more than worth 2000 a month. Craziest thing, right? So that was my start in tech. I had to learn Python in order to build these chatbots. So that's when I started doing this full-time. Chatbots, I made affiliate bots. I made an Instagram bot, which was my biggest seller up until Instagram kind of shut that down. So yeah, I was one of the first people to create those bots that are bugging our Instagram today. I apologize, people. That was my thing. And honestly, I fell in love with it. It was so fun. It was so fun. Like first, the money was there. People were paying you for it. And then it was just like building something that just comes alive. So I became obsessed. I became truly obsessed with it. I barely wanted to sleep. I just wanted to build. I wanted to code more. I wanted to learn more about tech. And that led me to starting my app development business, which was created last year simply because I saw an app developer build an app for one of my clients. And I was like, how did you do that? They told me learn JavaScript. So I learned JavaScript and started developing apps. And from there, I just kept going and I learned blockchain development last year. Now I'm building a cryptocurrency. I'm getting deeper into the metaverse, building with the metaverse, contributing to projects within the metaverse as well. Technology is deep, man. You gotta have a passion for it. You gotta have an obsession for it, and you just gotta go for it. You gotta really learn what you gotta learn, get good at it, and just jump right in. All right, that's the best advice I can give you. Now, as I explained, tech changed my life. As soon as I started my app development business, that was the end of last year. We made $120,000 gross, which is awesome. At the same time, we launched an app builder software that nets $7,000 a month. It's no longer at $7,000 a month. I think our churn rate, churn rate means you lose some people, some users. So I think our churn rate brought us down to around 6. That was recent. It brought us around 6.5. But yeah, we did a great job last year. This year, we're still doing these numbers. We're doing better in terms of revenue. So tech, baby, what can I say? And this is just on an entrepreneurial scale. I know people who are working 9-to-5 jobs in the tech field and doing way better than this. So if you need some motivation to get into tech, there you go. Other than building the future, there you go. Simple numbers there. And I also showcased this too. So this happened recently. People ask me why I started a development business. I bought my baby. This was amazing. Super excited to do that. It's my girlfriend. It was an amazing thing, amazing time. I'm not a super flexy dude. I'm a nerd by heart, but that was just something I always wanted, right? And next, lastly, this is us in our new townhouse condo. So in order to pursue cryptocurrency and blockchain and metaverse, I actually had to leave New York. New York is not very altcoin friendly. So we actually moved next door to New Jersey, which is extremely cryptocurrency friendly. So I can build out my crypto project. So yeah, that's a little bit of our entryway. Once we get more stuff into our apartment, which I'm currently in right now, I'll be able to show you guys more of a full tour. But yeah, super excited. Moved out of my hometown, got my dream car. You know, life's great. And now just how algo trading. Now we're gonna get into algo trading. You guys seen this already if you've seen my videos. My first week, I made $500 in profit, which was a profit where it was a 51% return. So yeah, I started with $1,000, 51% return in a week. That's freaking ridiculous. Last week we did a Fridays. I did an option called based upon the heat map that I created. I coded a heat map that found a correlation pattern between two different stocks on S&P 500. I created a manual trade, not with a bot. This was all manual, utilizing that information that I got from the heat map, and we returned $384 in one day, which is freaking ridiculous. This is how algo trading is just amazing. This is the response you're going to be seeing if you decide to jump into this full time. All right. Now, what is algorithmic trading? That's the one thing I know you probably never heard it before. Again, you haven't heard it until you've seen my videos. A lot of people use different terminology for it, but I'm going to keep it straight to what the industry says it is. Like a lot of people say, well, trading bots, all those other things. It's algorithmic trading. All right. I think they're trying to dumb it down for people. No, this is what it is. And you need to know what it is if you want to get a job in this. You need to know what this is, right? And this is what Investopedia says it is. Investopedia is a perfect place to go to if you want to learn stock trading, stock investing, Forex, everything in terms of investing, trading, saving, finance, Investopedia. Algorithmic trading is a process for executing orders utilizing automated and pre-programmed trading instructions to account for variables such as price, timings, and volume. Sounds familiar? It's a trading bot. That's basically what a trading bot is. And that's why I'm saying I use the correct terminology, which is algorithmic trading, instead of saying trading bots. I really hate saying that. And if you don't believe it's a huge market, that is the market size, $31 billion. And that's not accounting for the fact that hedge funds on a year, they spend $1.889 billion on data to build algorithmic trading models a year. And they also hire the best data scientists from MIT, Stanford, Harvard, from wherever, just to get them in there. And these people get paid millions. This industry is such a very secretive one that a lot of this stuff is not even common knowledge, even to programmers. Until you get scouted, you don't know about this. And that's the craziest thing to me. And that's why I fell in love with this industry. And even on a small scale, I'm not building algorithms as big as, JP Morgan and stuff like that. But even on a small scale, we can have a lot of success on the stock market, crypto market, all these other markets if we learn the skill set. That's the beauty of this thing, man. All right. Now let's give you a timeline of Python used in finance, because before I got into algorithmic trading, it was actually used in finance. Most people don't realize that Python is heavily used in finance. I know a lot of financial advisors that know how to build financial models with Python. They're really good with it. People just think they're just crunching numbers or using Excel. Guess what? Python interacts with Excel. They know how to code in Python. So Python was created in 1991 by a Dutch programmer. I do not want to pronounce his name wrong. He is the GOAT. I do not want to pronounce it wrong. And he was actually working within a hedge fund when he actually created it. Fun fact. NumPy was created, I actually spelled that wrong, apologies for that. NumPy was created in 2006, and that was when it really was kind of brought into finance world, right? When Python was first created, as I explained in most of my videos, Python is not a super fast language. It wasn't a super mathematical language as well. It was just very easy to read. And that's why everyone loves Python. Even today, people love Python because it's so easy to read, as opposed to other languages. And finance loved it as well for that reason. But they just wanted a way to kind of utilize it better, utilize it better for time series data, utilize it better for forecasting the future of finance, other, typical finance things. And that's when NumPy was created by a hedge fund. Again, you see, finance had really paved the way for Python to grow because they saw the utilization of it and have pushed it further. So NumPy was created, which is numerical Python. It's a library used to handle arrays and other number intensive projects. I'm going to show you an example later on. Pandas was then created in 2008. Now pandas is the GOAT when it comes to handling data frames. It was copied from R. Now, if you do not know this, there are two languages used mainly in data science. It's R and Python. And arguably, R is better because R is specifically created for data science. That's all R can do. The reason why people use Python more is because Python allows you to do other things such as machine learning that you can bring into data science. All right. And that's essentially why Python is used more. Now, it's up to you if you want to learn R. If you want to get into data science, highly recommend it, but I'm gonna stick to Python on Python. But yeah, Pandas was actually created to model R. That's a fun fact for you. In 2011 is when most hedge funds adopted Python. If you didn't know, another fun fact, there was actually a crash in 2010. It was called a flash crash. It was created because almost all hedge funds and financial institutions trading algorithms all produce sell signals, which created a freaking bomb on the stock market. That's a fun fact that most people will never know about because, again, algorithmic trading is such a secret society, right? In 2021, you guys are now learning it. So welcome to the secret tribe. All right. And so how does it work? So I want to show you guys this a little bit too. Now, this is essentially how the whole process works for algorithmic trading. You first collect data, you do research, you compile the data. Now, in big institutions, they kind of have people that handle all layers of this process. So it's from top to bottom. You utilize data, you then create your models, which is your code and your coded strategy. You then use trading signals, which is the next level of coding. And lastly, you execute it, which is where you kind of analyze the effect of it, analyze the percentage gains and the win rate of it. And if it works to your benefit, if it works to the amount that you're looking for in terms of your alpha strategy, you then keep going. You keep going with it. But you just have to always analyze and start again from the top. So you use data, you create your strategy, which is your hypothesis strategy that you code. You then use some trading signals to analyze buy and sell signals. You execute it, you analyze it. If it works out to the way that you're looking for, you continue with it. Otherwise, you go back and start again and fix it until you get that right strategy down. All right. I'm gonna explain a little bit more in detail. Don't worry if you're a little bit confused. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Finance makes things complicated, so you never try to learn how to do it yourself. That's exactly why a lot of this seems complicated. A lot of things like this you don't understand, you don't learn. I learned this while working at a Fortune 500. We make things sound complicated. Lawyers make things sound complicated. Everybody makes things sound complicated, so you'll never learn it. They don't want you to learn. They want you to continue paying them. Like, honestly, I was going to tell a story, but let me not, because I was hit with the NDA. So let me not. But yeah, They try to make things like this sound complicated so you never enter the space. Algorithmic trading, like I showed you before, it looked complicated because they don't want you to learn this. They don't want you to. But honestly, I'm going to break it down for you right now. Start with data. Financial information on a given equity, previous prices, dates, highs, lows, etc. That doesn't sound familiar to you? Let me show you something. If you go on Yahoo Finance right now for any stock that you're looking for, you're gonna get this actual table. That's data. That's all it is. It looked crazy before when I was showing you on the actual chart, right? But that's literally it. That's everything we look at on any market. If you're going Robinhood right now and you look at your favorite stock, that's what you're gonna see. That's the data that algorithmic traders are looking for. That's it. It's not complicated. Yahoo Finance, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, they're all gonna show the same thing. Previous prices, the open, the high, the 52-day week range, the volume, the average volume, all of that's just data that we're gonna be pulling as algorithmic traders. That's it. And most of the platforms that we trade on are gonna give it to us for free. We don't have to go out and go build it together. Now, again, bigger institutions, they create their own data, their own data frames, their own data, they pull all of that together. But for what we're doing with trading bots, we can just use what the platform give us for free. All right, next, alpha model, your golden ticket, your winning trading / investment code. I explained this already in a video. Your alpha is literally your golden ticket. Do not give away your alpha. That is your winning trading strategy code. All right, that's what every algorithmic trader is doing. They're looking to build an alpha, their winning strategy. No one's gonna give you away their alpha. I'm not giving away my alpha. Even my students, they're not getting my alpha. they build their own alpha. I give you the strategies and what you need to learn to build your own alpha. But we're not giving you our alpha. That's specifically for each individual trader. You need to get it. You need to get your alpha. I got my alpha. Everyone else in this space had their own alpha. And that's the reason why a lot of people have said that this is why this is such a secret society. Nobody wants to give away their alpha. In order to kind of teach this, most people want to figure that they're going to have to give away the alpha. No, you don't. So that's your golden ticket. Keep it to yourself. And lastly, backtesting, verifying strategy. Testing your alpha just to make sure that you don't risk any money. It's basically like paper trading. If you've paper traded with stock trading, you already know what this is. Just testing it without having to risk any money at all. All right. Let's get to coding. A brief guide to the basics of coding a bot. All right. Now, first, download Python. So I'm going to jump out of this real quick. So let's go here together. Yes, I'm using Canva, people. Yes, I'm using Canva. If you go to this website, look, you go straight to this link. I'm going to give you these slides, so you're going to have all these links already. It's going to automatically have your OS up here, and it's going to let you download the latest Python for your OS, all right, which is 3.10.0, right? Another thing you're going to need is these libraries here. Beautiful Soup, I think it's up here. This is for web scraping. So this is for taking data from websites. That's what web scraping is. NumPy, as we explained before, numerical Python. I have the documentation. They're all in the slides. I'm going to send it to you guys after this. And pandas. I don't think I have that one up here yet, but yes, pandas as well. They also, the documentation is there too. Make sure I don't have, yeah, I don't have that. All right. Now, to install these libraries on your computer, again, these libraries here, you would use pip3 and install a library name. I'm going to do it right now for you guys so you can see it. So say, apologies. Oh, I gotta do this. Say we want to install pandas. So we open up our terminal. So if you don't have a Mac, if you have a Mac, you'll have terminal. If you have a Windows computer, you'll have control panel. Same thing. So you would open it up and you would put pip3 install, and the package name. So for this one, it would be pandas. And you would just click enter and run that. Same thing with NumPy. Almost all libraries, you just use pip3 install and the package name. If you get lost, you don't know what to do to install it, the great thing is this is why I added these actual docs for it in the documentation links, so that go to this one. You know, they already explain to you how you can install it. See, instead of pip, put pip3, and they already explain how you can install it. That's why documentation is so important for programming. Always have a documentation. And that's why I included documentation in these slides. All right. And next thing you would need is an IDE. This is where you write your code. I'm gonna show you an example of my IDE. So this is my IDE. This is where I write my code. Super simple, as you can see. That's what, I know you've seen it on like a lot of TV shows and stuff, but yeah, that's where you write your code. So I have three of my personal favorites here. PyCharm is the one that I just showed you, the one that I mainly use for Python programming. That's why it's called PyCharm, Python charm, get it? However, I would tell you that this does have a learning curve, a little bit of a learning curve. So it is the best for Python programming by far, but it does have a learning curve. VS Code is arguably the best IDE for any programming. I use it for JavaScript programming, for building applications, I use VS Code. It's the best for overall programming. Any language you're using, use VS Code. But again, that's another one that has a learning curve. Atom is the only one here. I started learning on Atom. It is the beginner-friendly IDE. I highly recommend if you're starting in Python or any programming language, use Atom. It's super easy to get started, but I have the link for all of them. Now, when you use PyCharm, please do not download a professional version. That's costs money. The community version is where you want to go. VS Code, again, pick your operating system. If you have a Mac, click this link. You have Linux, click one of these. And if you have Windows, click here. And Atom as well, just click download. It's going to automatically populate your OS, so don't worry about it. All right. And what we're going to use for this one here, we're going to use Alpaca. If you don't know what Alpaca is, now you know. Alpaca is used for algorithmic trading. It's a platform created specifically for coding stock trading strategies. So I know a lot of people want to use Robinhood, use TD Ameritrade, platforms that people typically associate with stock trading. But this platform was built for programming on it, for building trading strategies, for algorithmic trading. It was built for this. And that's why Alpaca is great. It even allows you to practice using paper trading money. So you can practice your strategy on a live account with fake money. So you can see if you can build your alpha or not. That's the beauty of Alpaca. And the link is right here. See, commission-free testing environment, real-time market data. I'm going to send you all of this again after this webinar. All right. So now let's get into building our first code. Okay, so once you sign up for Alpaca, you'll be presented with this screen. I couldn't show you my login. It's my login. And that's going to be its live trading account. So what you need to do is you need to switch to a paper trading account. Do not use a live trading account. It requires real money. Paper trading, fake money. Practice, not practice. Good. So you click here and you go to your paper trading account. Ooh, look at that. I placed a trade. So I already placed a trade for one of my bots, which was an Apple buy. Placed it for 161, only bought one share, and it's already up $21. Awesome. So the most important thing you need for your paper trading account is the API keys. Now, really quickly, because we're going to be dealing with an API, when it comes to trading bots, you're going to be dealing with the API. I want to explain what it is a little bit without going super technical. What an API stands for is an application programming interface. Sounds super technical, but it's really simple. It allows two programs to communicate with each other. You can think of an API as a phone. Say basically, hey, I have a phone. I want to make a call to another program for information. So in this case, I want to make a call to Alpaca to place a trade. I want to place a trade through Alpaca's platform, but I want to do it through my code. So I will use the API, which is a phone, and make a call to Alpaca and say, hey, Alpaca, I would like to place a trade on your platform through this code. I want to place an order for certain quantity at a certain price. Same thing if I wanted to get information, say I want to get information such as the prices. Remember, data is all about collecting information. If I wanted to collect information about a certain stock from Alpaca, I will use their API as well to make a call saying, hey, Alpaca, I'd like to retrieve this information. That's what an API is. An API allows you to write code that interacts with another platform. In this case, it'll be Alpaca. Now, if you're going to use a platform such as Robinhood, you want to set trades to your Robinhood account, you would need to find a Robinhood API. Same thing with TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, all of those trading platforms, you would need to use their actual platform API. Super simple, don't overcomplicate it. So the most important thing you need when you're trying to make that communication with their API is their API keys. Now, here are my two API keys, an endpoint and an API key. So I would need both. So one, the API key is the most important, automatically copies it. So now we're gonna go to PyCharm. So open up your IDE now. So whether you downloaded Atom, VS Code, or PyCharm like this, open it up. And you need to store your keys. So API underscore key, or you can name it anything you want, but I'm gonna do API key here. And this is what we call in Python a variable. Now, just like back in school, remember back in school, we had variables where it was like X equals 1. That's exactly how variables work in programming. We put what we want the variable to be named. I want it to be named API key, and I want it to equal the API key that we copied from the paper trading account. Now let's go back here too, and the endpoint, same thing we're gonna do here too. You can call it endpoint, make it a variable with parentheses, and in between the parentheses, you put in what you want the variable to be named after. So again, really quickly, this is how you create variables in Python. You give it a name and you set it to equal, then you put two parentheses, and then you put what you want the variable to equal in between it. And I want it to be equal to my API key, and I want the endpoint to be equal to the endpoint that I got from the paper trading side. Super simple. Now, let's create our first piece of code. And this is how we're gonna do it. It's super easy. All right, so Alpaca provides you this. This is a GitHub repository on their documentation. Now, what is a GitHub repository? Just think of it as a Google Drive for all the information on how to use a certain platform's API. So all the information on how to use Alpaca's API, they provide to you. And I'll send you this link as well. And so they tell you right there how to install the API. Just like we install any other library, we would do pip3 install and the API key name. So we're gonna do that right now. Remember the same thing I taught you before. You go to terminal, or in this case, you would go to your command prompt or terminal. You can copy and paste, just copy and paste it. Let it run. I already have it on my computer, but I just wanted to run with you so you can see what it looks like. I already have it on my computer, perfect. Now let's go back to the documentation. It's gonna have everything you need. So to get started, where is it? We're gonna scroll down. It's gonna have the section that I'm looking for to get you started. Here we go. This is what we're gonna work with first. Now, this is how you import the API that you just basically installed. So you remember we put pip3 install and we put Alpaca Trade API. Now we need to import it into our code. We need to actually have the API in our code so that we can communicate with the Alpaca platform. And this is how you would do it. Copy and paste that. Oh, sorry about that. Didn't copy. Copy. Okay. Paste. Now we imported Alpaca APIs. Now, same thing with if we wanted to import pandas, NumPy, and Beautiful Soup. Remember, we already installed them in our computer in the last slide. So same thing, it would be import pandas. See? And because PyCharm already identifies that we installed it, remember I showed you how to install it already, so it should already be installed on your computer. You could just click import. So import NumPy. We already installed these, so same thing. And when we put as trade API, what we're trying to say is we want to shorten it. Say it's a long form, name. So you want to shorten it to write it in the code. And what that means is you want to give it a nickname. You want to give it a nickname so that it's a lot easier. Instead of saying Giovanni, we want to say Gio, G-I-O. So we put import Giovanni as G-I-O. So give it a nickname so it's easier to write. So pandas as PD. This is typical basic practice. Almost everybody nicknames pandas as PD, NumPy as NP. That way it's a lot easier. So when we want to write code for pandas, we put PD dot and such, see? As opposed to putting pandas out. It's this little thing, let's just give it a nickname. So same thing with the trade API. It's long as hell. So we would just want to rename it, give it a nickname, trade API. All right, so let's go back to the code. And now it's telling you what you can do next. Now you can actually set up the API by creating a variable called API while calling the REST module. So again, this is just all through the documentation. Okay. And now here are the things that this is going to need. So it's going to need two things. One, now we need to add in our variable for the API key. And we also need a secret key here too. So it's not showing our secret key. So there's always two keys that you're going to need. You're going to need the API key, which is this one here, and you'll need an API secret key. It's not showing a current API secret key because I already used it. So I would have to regenerate the keys. And now, see, now I have my secret key. So every API instance you're going to use, anytime you use an API, it's always going to be an API key and an API secret key. I actually have to change this now since I regenerated these keys. So my API key isn't the same anymore. And do not use this. This is specific for my account. I'm going to regenerate it anyway, so it's not going to work for you, but do not use it. And do not give out your API keys. Because if you're going to be trading on a paper account, even if you're trading on a paper account, you don't want anyone to create a program to access your keys. Your keys have to be separate, all right? So API secret key equals. Now, if you take my training, I'm going to show you a better way to store these keys, but this is just for demonstration purposes. All right, so now let's get the secret key. Copy. All right, so now this API call is going to require the API key, secret key, the endpoint, and it also requires one more thing. I just want to go check the documentation. Again, if you get lost, check the documentation. There's one more thing that it requires. No, where is it? And the thing is, when you're used to this, you tend to remember these things. There's something it requires. Data key. Okay, so we're gonna go back down here. I'm gonna go into one of my older programs because I know I have it there. It requires one more thing. Yeah, it requires one more thing. All right, so let's go here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. API version. That's what it required. Documentation actually needs to update it. It wouldn't run if you didn't have that. Good thing I remembered that. All right, so now let's go back to this. All right, so we're going to use this code here. And this is going to get our account information. All right. So basically we pulled the API by setting it to equal the API key that we have stored here. The secret key we stored here and the endpoint here. And we also put the version as well, because there's different versions of the API. Good thing I remembered that. And then we stored that all into a variable. So yes, you can store variables into variables. And then all we did was we called to get account. Now we don't need to add it in a variable if you don't want to. You don't need to add anything in a variable if you don't want to. It just makes it a lot easier when it comes to writing a code. So you can print this. All right, you can print this. There we go. And that's basically us getting all the information. The status is active. This is getting all the information from Alpaca. So that's basically us calling up Alpaca, be like, hey, Alpaca, can you verify that all our account information is there? And this is them telling us, yeah, you're good. Now, what does print mean? Print is how you show any code. This is how you run code. Print is how you run code. So say, let's create a variable called add. Add equals x equals 1 plus 1. Print, sorry, it has to be lowercase p. Actually, no, let's do it simple. Let's do a equals 1, b equals 2. Print a plus b. Let's run that. Equals 3. You see what I mean? I basically created a program where I created two variables, assigned them certain numbers, added them together, and told the print statement to run the code and give me the answer to what 1 plus 2 equals, and that's 3. That's what print is. Print is a very simple function. If you learn the basics of Python, this is the first thing you're gonna learn. All right, so I didn't want you guys to be confused with that. So to run a print, you have to print, and then you put two parentheses, and then inside you put what you want to print. So before we printed the API, to just make sure that we're connected to Alpaca. And in that example there, I just did 1 plus 2, basic, right? Okay, now let's send an actual trade to Alpaca. So this is where you can do, okay, this is what we're gonna do. All right, so we're gonna copy this. Again, this is all from documentation. Every platform has a documentation you can use. So this is gonna be running your first trading code, all right? So what this is, it's submitting an order. So we're taking this and we're submitting an order, and the symbol is the stock ticker that we want to submit to. So SPY is the S&P 500. Say you wanted to submit an order for Microsoft, it would be MSFT, Amazon AMZN, Apple AAPL. I already submitted an order with Apple, so we're gonna do Amazon. Notions are the 1.5 share. We could take this out, you know, but we'll ignore that. Now this is just telling side equals buy. So these are all just how you have to set up the order form. This is how you set up the order form to send to Alpaca's API. This is going to be a market order, meaning that it's going to be filled at the price that the current stock is at. And time and force date, meaning that it's going to only be, this order is going to only be active for a day. And if it doesn't get filled in a day, the order doesn't go through in a day, it gets canceled automatically. So we can then just run video. And it finished. Now let's go to Alpaca and see what happened. Let's refresh. Don't die on me, computer. Oh, you see, there we go. See, it just got the order that I just placed through trade. So look at that. You just ran your first automated trading program. You just ran it. This is the market buy I just submitted with time, 6:58. So yeah, that was a minute ago. Boom. Now it didn't get filled yet because the market closes at 4. If you know anything about the stock market, it closes at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to most likely be filled tomorrow. But that is essentially how you run a automated trade. That's the basics of creating a simple trade. Now, this is all the simple way of doing it. I know you probably took a peek at this. Yeah, this is the big boy way of creating a trading bot. I didn't want to take you guys through this. I initially did, but this is a little bit more advanced. My students, now granted, my students who took my Python trading bot training, after 1 month, they've already been able to replicate this in 1 month. That's my biggest pride and joy. I'm so excited for that. So right now, this is a little bit too advanced for you guys, but yeah, this is what we get to in terms of building trading algorithms. And this is a simple one at that. This is a simple trading algorithm. Look at these. Look at all of my other programs here. These are way more advanced. I'm going to show you one right now. This is my big boy. This is a real algorithm. 447 lines of code. This is not a bot. This is an algorithm. Algorithm means that it runs on its own. It knows how to predict a market, and it automatically executes and then removes itself. It basically does everything on its own. This is the level that you want to get onto. This is the level that hedge funds and big institutions are using this code at. This is where I'm going to get my students. But right now, we're having them build simple trading bots. So I'm happy for that, but that other one is where you want to be. Okay, guys, so we're finishing up here. So here are my top 3 students. Adeshwar, he's actually my designer for Liphill Shadow. I actually put him onto this a lot earlier than when I started creating these trainings. Tevin, the CS student that also reached out to me. Jordan, you already seen his testimonial on my page. And I got a few other students. I think I have 10 more students plus that are still getting through the notions. But these 3 have already passed all of the courses, training videos that I put together on the Python trading bot video. They're already on the intermediate level, and I'm going to be bringing them over to machine learning now. In 1 month, they learned the basics of Python. They learned the basics of Python finance, and now they're starting to get into machine learning, which is like a little bit of the first step of kind of getting into the algo space. So safe to say I'm doing a great job teaching. But other than that, I want to also explain to you guys why I'm doing this. Like, what is the reason for all of this craziness? Other than my love of technology, love of programming, I see a very big opportunity here, especially in the crypto space. This is why I moved states. I realized that algorithmic trading is still very new to the market. Not new in the sense of like everyone they've been doing it for years, but there's still a lot that can be done with it. And essentially, I want to create a quantitative hedge fund. And what that is just a hedge fund that's focused on algorithmic trading. And the best way to do that is to work with other algorithmic traders. However, like I said, algorithmic trading is a kind of hush-hush business. So what is the best way to get connected with people in a field that most people tend to be quiet in? It's like creating these people. So I'm creating these algo traders from my information. I'm going to be creating these guys. I'm mentoring these guys specifically for that reason. I'm going to be bringing them in the fold of this new business venture. And that's essentially why I started teaching this. A lot of algo traders wouldn't want to like be a part of this because them using their alpha is just hush hush business. But if I can create algo traders, especially algo traders that look like me and have the same drive and vision as me, then I can see this thing through to the next level. So that's essentially why I'm creating these courses, getting people into this, is to create that end goal of creating a quantitative hedge fund in the crypto space, especially in the crypto space, which is blowing up right now. Now, with that, I want to end it with one last thing. Now, for Black Friday, a lot of people have been reaching out to me. They want to learn this stuff, but they're not necessarily believing that they're ready for the training. So I decided to create a Python algorithmic trading academy, where the first step is learning Python. So we're going to be spending the first 3 months learning Python. I'm going to send out videos every week. You're going to have one-on-one calls with me every month, and we're going to focus on learning Python before we get into the other more advanced things. And I'm going to be holding you guys accountable because, like I said, I want to create this hedge fund and I want you guys to be the people that work with me on it. So I'm gonna be working with you guys, creating videos every week, and then setting up a call with you guys once a month, just to make sure that I'm checking in to make sure you guys are actually learning and digesting this, and you could ask me any question pertaining to this. Then we're gonna go into the next level subjects once you master the basics of Python. We're gonna go into Python for finance. And I'm gonna check with you before we go into Python for finance to make sure that you get the basics. So I'm gonna be on you. I'm gonna be on you. And then we're going to go into Python for finance. Then we're going to go into the fundamentals of trading and investing, setting up forecasting for your financial portfolio, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So if you guys want to join the Algorithmic Trading for Python Academy, I will be sending you the link with the video and the code and the slide deck for this presentation. Again, if you're willing to put in the work, I'm willing to teach you, and I'm going to help you get there to where I am right now and beyond. So I'll see you guys very soon. I'm going to shoot you guys an email with everything. The academy is only going to cost $60 a month, which is less than even Code Academy Pro, and you're going to actually be learning something that's going to make you money immediately. So it's a no-brainer. That's how I wanted to price it at that point, because it's a no-brainer at this point. So I'll send you all the information on that later tonight. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and look through this information and look through my dividend bot when I send it to you as well, and just learn it and join the academy, and I'll teach you from there. So peace, guys. I'm about to go make some shrimp Alfredo. Good night, guys.